Hello everybody, I want to talk to you about the different settings, resolutions, frame rates, and FOVs that I use on the GoPro, okay? So, hear me out. The one I'm filming it right now is 5.3K, 30 frames per second with linear lock. So that means I can turn the camera a full 360 and then I would still be upright. Usually I would do like to check the time. Usually the camera gets tilted. Just look good on camera. I don't care. Anyway, that's the setting I'm using. It's called cinema mode, cinematic. It's really difficult to grasp the bit rate. If you guys are worried about bitrate on the GoPro, I believe the highest resolution 5.3K at 240. No, it's 5.3K at either 30, 60, or 120 frames per second. I think. I'm not sure. Don't quote on that. I don't know. I don't use that resolution a lot. That's why I'm asking. So I don't know. But I have a preset on the GoPro Hero 11 that says not regular, whatever it's called, I don't know, can't remember, but it's I call it the regular one because that's one I frequently use. It's 2.7K 60 frames per second wide field of view, okay? So it's not that big, but you know why I think it's why it's happening? Because it's a linear, it's not wide. That's why the camera's moving so much. Anyway, so yeah, I film usually 60 frames per second because it's like super smooth. If I need to slow down the footage, I can. Don't really need to. Rarely do, unless I'm doing something crazy. But this is 30 frames per second, 5.3K with linear lock on. Horizon leveling. Sorry, horizon lock, horizon leveling, whatever it's called. With stabilization, obviously. And then I have one that's called full frame mode, which is the full sensor, 4:3 resolution, 4K, I think 120. I believe the highest frame rate I have on the GoPro, it's either 120 or 240 frames per second, which is a lot of frames, guys. I'm gonna test that resolution out one day. I'm gonna do 5.3K. 240, or maybe drop down the resolution to only 4K. Scoops and slices. Guess where I'm not going today? Scoops and slices. Don't have the time. I would get ice cream. I will say I would get ice cream if I wanted it, but that's not the term of this video. Anyway, so what I usually do, which all my TikToks, all my YouTube videos, it's usually it would usually be a 2.7K 60 frames per second wide field of view. So you can have different focal lengths. You could have ultra wide, you could have wide, and linear. Those are the three field of views on the GoPro. And you get an attachment that has it's called the Max 2.0 or Max 1.0. I think the Max 1.0 will work on this camera. I'm not sure what it would do because like doesn't really need, don't need that wide of a field of view. That's okay, don't judge. I just go for the resolution. And it does 4K 60, I believe, if you do the max lens mod, which is a module. It costs $100 to buy. It's really expensive. So yeah, so I have activity mode, which is 4K 120 frames per second. Like if there's a motorsports, if I was biking or something. Ow, my butt. What else? So you can do 4 resolutions. 1080p, 2.7K, 4K, and 5.3K. Different bit rates depending on frame rate and obviously duration of clips. It's not that hard to do the math on, but it is a big file. Now I have a 512 gigabyte micro SD card in here. I got plenty of storage. Got 14 hours and 2 minutes of footage so far. We're almost at the beach. I will say, guys, if you use sorry, my God, I can't speak. If you use a lower resolution, the GoPro will not heat up as quickly. Now it's winter time, I'm not concerned about the overheating because the camera's getting cooled down. But if you're in your room in the summertime, it might work in the summertime, but if you go outside, be prepared for the GoPro to overheat. The GoPro does overheat relatively quickly. It's not great, but it works. But I was just thinking, if you do 1080p, which is just HD, it's still crystal clear. You get stabilization. It's actually good quality. It's not 1080p high bit rate. It's not a high bit rate. It's a low bit rate. But I will say, you can work. There's a setting on the GoPro that I think I have, because I'm in 5.3K resolution, and it's called bitrate. You can turn it on high or low. You can only put it on low if you're using 1080 to 2.7K, because the bitrate and the file sizes won't mix. The SD card won't be able to transfer the data as fast. Or like my micro SD card is a black and red one. It's the Standard Stream Pro, and so it takes about a transfer speed at about 180 megabytes per second. So that's 0.18 gigabytes per second. And the bit rate, if you put it on high, it will tell you on this right hold on, right over here on my screen. I'm seeing the screen right now. Right over here about, and this is where the battery is. This is where the recording number is. There is a it would say how much battery. My battery's at a little less than 80%. And I also work on, if you do use the GoPro, subscription is not mandatory, strongly recommended. If you want to save your media to your phone somehow. Welcome to West Beach, guys. Look at this. Wow, this is low tide, I think. Anyway, guys, so yeah, this is the beach house that I was going to. So we're turning around now. So, if you do 1080p, I think you do 1080p. What's the highest frame rate? And I think I could be wrong. I think 240. What is the highest frame rate possible on the GoPro Hero 11? Mm-hmm. $240 frames per second. Okay, that's what I thought. So I'm gonna try that next video. And I will say, guys, if you do ever change the frame rate, make sure you have the bit rate to go along with it. Okay? I will say it is very hard for the micro SD card to take in the bit rate of 5.3K if you have a 60 frames per second versus 30 frames per second at bit rate high. And it sucks because you have to work on it. But if you get a fast micro SD card like a V30, you're good, you're golden. There are V60, I don't know what, they're expensive, guys. Micro SD cards, just getting a 512 gigabyte one, the black and red one, SanDisk Extreme Pro, that came out of my wallet about $60 later. $60, $70 later. It might not sound like a lot, but with my budget, it's crazy. You can't afford it, I can't afford it, but no, it's okay. But you do need a micro SD card to go with this GoPro. And then if you go on the GoPro website and their Q&A, they give you a full list of micro SD cards you can try and work with and what makes them so unique. I get the SanDisk Extreme or SanDisk Extreme Pro. Or Plus. Is there a SanDisk Extreme Plus? This is a SanDisk Extreme Plus. Not the SSD, micro SD card. SanDisk Extreme Plus. SanDisk. Yeah. It's these, the golden ones, yeah. Those are very cheap. The black ones on the wider, I think it's just the write speed. The read and write speed are a little slower. I mean faster. SanDisk Extreme versus SanDisk Extreme Pro versus SanDisk Extreme Plus. I recommend if depending on your budget, if you want to get cheap, get one that's not silver or gray. Those are designed for older GoPros. They still work. They give you the storage, but the frame rate and resolution won't be supported. If you film 4K, like on my GoPro Hero 7, when I had my GoPro Hero 7, I had a golden one. I had 120. I had about 120 gigabytes worth of. Oh shit. 120 gigabytes worth of video and photos, and they worked very well. It was very hard to not like have the camera worked very well, but when I transferred the media, hey, it would take a while. It would be a little slower. I had the time, I had all the time in the world to wait for the media to load, but like now, such high demand for media, it's crazy. I have about 3.35 terabytes worth of video, and it actually is a lot. That's from the GoPro Hero 7 and the 11. It's about 20/80. 20% the GoPro Hero 7, 80% this camera, the 11. Time, God, 2:30. Okay, we got an hour. So that's about it, guys. I'll talk more about it in the future. You guys want to hear more about the GoPro and features? I know Maya is definitely interested in GoPro because of me. I'm not the first person that hooks people on GoPro. I actually have hooked up John, Toll, now it's Maya, and a couple other people. I never understood how I got my first GoPro. I bought it for myself when I was younger. But like, why GoPro? Why not like an Insta360 camera? Why GoPro? Like, I don't know how the hell I started on that. So yeah, I'm gonna turn the camera off. My GoPro is at 67%. Haha, 67, oh, there it is. Kill me now. But yeah, guys, it's definitely worth it. If you're looking for a camera, I'm not saying this is the best camera out there. There's definitely better cameras now. GoPro's kind of struggling. They made an 8K camera finally, but it was like a 360 camera, the Max 2. That's they wanted to come out for so long, but their budget, we finally got the income, the discipline, and the urge to make an 8K camera. So there's the GoPro Hero, the only Hero. There is the 13, and that works miracles. I think Maya might get that if she needs to. She wants to learn how to use the GoPro first, so if she really wants my help, I'll give her my 11 to use for the day or something. Oh. Where the hell that sound is coming from. But yeah, guys, thank you for watching. Have a great day. I'll talk to you later. Time, almost 2:30, 2:29. Yeah, 2:29. See you later. Peace.